You are now listening to the Backlook Cinema Podcast with Zach and Zoe. Thank you for joining us as we talk about the movies of yesteryear. You can reach us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter by searching for Backlook Cinema. Check our show notes for more info, and now, let's get it in. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining the Backlook Cinema Podcast with Zach and Zoe.
Yeah, this is me, Zach.
And this is Zoe. And this is our 7th episode. And in this episode, we're going to talk about
Die Hard 2.
Die Hard 2. Tagline, Die Harder. Yippee-ki-yay. The reason we started this show was to strengthen our bond. So we watched movies that I loved when I was growing up. And then my offspring, who has never seen a movie, joins me and we discuss it on this show. And then we just have fun, bonding together as son and father. Talk about how great Die Hard 2 was. Why don't you tell them how they can reach us?
The show can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Pandora, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, Deezer, TuneIn, and others. You can even search the Backlook Cinema Podcast on Google and you'll find us.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are live worldwide. You can reach us also at backlookcinema.com. You can type in backlookcinema.com and you can listen to all of our episodes, the latest episode, the archived episodes. You can get it all right there at our website. You can also check out our merch section, and you can find out a little bit more about us. Now, if you like our show,
so yeah, please, if you like our show, then rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts or various other podcast apps you might be listening to us on.
That's right. So, let me ask you something. What have you been up to this week?
Been playing Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes, I got a glimpse of that. Kind of seen that.
It is a buggy mess for the for the base PS4. PS4 Pro, I'm not sure. Some people say, yeah, it's decent, it's good. And the PS5 is like, oh yeah, it runs real good.
So you're saying it's a little glitchy?
Yeah, but if you're on PC, you have barely any problems on PC because, again, it's like that's what the game was made for. Straight up was meant for PC only.
Right. So you're playing a game, and as far as like the story and the action and all that, how was that?
It's all good. I really like it. It's very interesting on where the story is taking me from, the path I chosen.
So you chose what path?
Street Kids.
Out of how many paths?
There's only 3. There's Street Kids, Corporate, and like the Outcast, whatever, like the Wildlands.
Okay, all right. So you enjoy the game. It just needs some update.
Lots of updates because even on the newest update that they gave out, which was yesterday, yeah, it still bugs out because the game crashed on me, and I was like, oh, on the newest update, it crashed on me, yay! At least on the PC, so they only did it 3 times.
So what else you been up to this week? Is that it?
Yeah, pretty much that's just it.
Right. Okay. Well, what I've been doing is nothing much, just working. And actually, the only game I've been playing is that sniper game. I haven't watched any TV. I think I've seen one episode of something, but it was, and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. Usually I try to watch The Mandalorian and Star Trek Discovery, but I hadn't watched those episodes this week. But yeah, the only thing I've been doing is playing that sniper 3D game. I don't even know the name of it. I'm just having fun sniping. and that's it. And tweaking the website and whatnot. So what you think about Die Hard 2?
Yeah, it was good. It had some good laughs in there.
So you already seen Die Hard 1?
Yeah, already seen that one.
Right. So that's why we had to skip Die Hard 1 and go straight to Die Hard 2. And it's a great Christmas movie. It gets you all in the field.
I mean, at least this time he didn't have to take off. He didn't have his shoes off and stepped in glass. At least that's the only key difference.
Right. He got beat up quite a lot, but at least he didn't cut up his feet stepping on glass. Actually, yeah, he did do that because that's how the terrorists was fine. That's how the terrorists tracked him for a little bit on the first Die Hard movie. So I'm trying to think about some of the other things that happened in this movie. So basically, they're at an airport, and actually, I got my notes here. Let me go look at the notes before I just start talking.
Yeah, look at the notes.
Because I start talking off memory, and then nothing makes sense. It just sound like gibberish.
Well, I already know the base story is that John McClane is going to pick up his wife from the airport, but then he notices someone. He's like, I can't put my finger on it, but I know I've seen him before. Oh, well. But then he starts to get more suspicious when he sees someone going to the back when it doesn't look like they're allowed in the back. So he goes, and he's like, he sees a jet. He's like, all right, I'm going to need to get back there. I'm a police. Pulls out his badge. The guy's like, all right, sure, yeah, that works for me. I'm going to tell you. And then he tells the guy, go get 2 cops and bring him back here. So they do that. He ends up accidentally killing the guy, but it's gonna happen anyway. The other guy escapes. The cops come. They're like, "All right, who are you?" And he's like, "I'm John McClane. I'm from who was it? New York, L.A." And they don't believe him. He's like, "Where's your badge?" And he's like, on his way to a different state, and they go looking for it. They find it. It's like, "Oh, okay, sorry about that. Just had to make sure." After that, he gets to meet the captain of the police force. And then he's like, you done screwed up so hard by not sealing off the airport when you have a crime scene right there and then. What are you doing? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is my jurisdiction. This is my pool. This is my job. I do how I want to do. So get out of my office. I do things I need to do because I got other things more to worry about. There's some hooligans trying to steal some luggages from the airport. So then John's like, I got a hunch. I'm going to follow my gut to the brim, all the way to the brim. And it turns out, of course he's right. He's John McClane.
Right, of course he's right. So, in a synopsis written by Fan Film that was found on, I think I found this on IMDb. After terrifying events in L.A., John McClane is about to go through it all again. A team of terrorists led by Colonel Strong is holding an entire airport hostage. The terrorists are planning to rescue a drug lord from justice. In order to do so, they have to seize control of all electrical equipment affecting all planes. With no runway lights available, all aircraft have to remain in the air with fuel running low. McClane will need to be fast. So, that was written by fan_film. And, and that was exciting. It was so different from the first movie, the original. The funny thing about it is, with sequels, normally the story is very similar to the first movie, if it's not a continuation of the same story. But this one, it was like a vastly different story, with the only similarity being that it occurs around Christmas season, which makes it a very Christmassy movie. It was released on July 3rd, 1990 by 20th Century Fox. It made $240 million worldwide on a $70 million budget. So it was a hit. It was a mega hit. It was a 1990s type of hit.
Yeah, I can tell. I remember they made a third one. So, yeah, it was definitely a hit.
They made a third one. They made a fourth one. And then it was like, we should stop making these. So it got mixed reviews, but they were generally favorable. So it stars Bruce Willis, William Atherton, Bonnie Belladia, Reginald Vell Johnson. We remember him from Family Matters. Frank Nero, William Sadler, John Amos from Good Times, and several other well-noted actors. There was Fred Thompson. He makes an appearance again, and we remember seeing him on Hunt for the Red October.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's always playing that command figure, that hyper authority figure. And Bruce Willis actually, before he did Die Hard, he was on this TV series called, what was it called? Moonlighting. I think I can't remember if it's pronounced Moonlighting or Moonlightning. But probably, which one sounds right?
I don't know. It depends on how you feel about it. I've never seen that show.
But moonlighting is a real thing. It's just light from the moon, but I just want to make sure that I said it right. But anyway, at moonlighting, that's when most people got to see Bruce Willis, and he starred in the show Sybil Shepherd, and it was kind of a Sybil Shepherd. I almost said I don't know what I said before, but anyway, so on the show he was a detective and running like a private detective agency, and she was a rich socialite that happened to own the company. It was like she didn't even realize that she owned the company, and in that show, they get together and solve cases, and Bruce Willis always had that swagger, and movie studios like, we should bring some of the swagger to the big screen, and that's when and he started in Die Hard, and you can kind of see it in every film that he's in. So they made a sequel, Die Hard 2, and it's actually a bigger hit than the first movie. And Reginald VelJohnson, he was I mentioned he was in Family Matters, so he was the police officer with the twins.
Oh yeah, I know he was in Die Hard 1 too.
Right. And the funny thing about him is that whenever he drives around, or anytime people seen him in public, like right after those movies came out, they were offering comment on his Twinkie habit, or they would give him a Twinkie. He said that sometimes they would throw Twinkies in his car if they see him in the car and the windows are down. But most people, they really adore him because he was on Family Matters at the time. And I'm not sure if he played police officer or a bus driver in Family Matters. I just remember him in uniform. But that's the show where you had Steve Urkel and a bunch of other actors. I don't remember them right now. But the most I remember from that show was Steve Urkel. I don't think you ever seen Family Matters, have you?
I'm pretty sure I've seen clips of it. I'm pretty sure if I remember, it's either on ABC Family or Nickelodeon, one of the two.
Yeah, probably. I can definitely see it being on ABC Family. And also John Amos from Good Times. He reminded me a lot of your grandfather. On Good Times, not on this show. Not on Die Hard 2, but on Good Times. So when I'm sitting in a movie theater, all of a sudden John Amos shows up. I was like, oh my God, it's John Amos! Because they killed him off in Good Times, and you ain't seen him for a while. The next thing you know, he shows up in this movie. It's almost like you wish he was a good guy from start to finish, and he kind of presents himself as a good guy in the beginning, but then it doesn't turn out that way. That was an excellent plot twist. That's like one of the best plot twists I've seen in cinema.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was
even though they made it obvious when you get to that one scene when they go to the church, that they made that heavily obvious.
At what part when they go?
Okay, so when they're in the cars, you see them loading the guns, and if you paid attention to it, both teams had on blue tape.
Yeah, that was the signal.
And I was like,
Yeah, that was the signal. They was telling. That's when they started to tell the audience, okay, now we did some shenanigans. They did that on purpose, obviously, so that we can see.
Yeah, that was obvious.
But I never even I didn't pick that up. Like when I watched it in the theater, I never even noticed it. And then all of a sudden, they revealed that they're using blanks. It was a fake battle. It was a fake battle so they could cause a distraction and get out and get in the plane and get out.
And I'm pretty sure those C4s was fake too, since like get out of here, seal the building, only just to make sure no one goes in there and be like, oh, we can use this since they took ours out.
Right. It may have been fake or real, but yeah, that was definitely a clever plot. It was directed by Rennie Harlan. He directed Cleaner, The Covenant, and such classics as Deep Blue Sea, The Long Kiss Goodnight, Cutthroat Island, and Cliffhanger, and a bunch more. Now, I remember seeing Deep Blue Sea, and The Long Kiss Goodnight. I don't know if I watched Cliffhanger or just clips of it, and the others I kind of know about. But The Long Kiss Goodnight, that might have to go on the list.
No, that sounds like a romance movie. No.
No, that's definitely not a romance movie. That one stars Samuel L. Jackson and Gina Davis, and that movie is a spy thriller. So that is more like I think one of them is a sleeper agent. They don't realize that they're a sleeper agent until they get activated, and all of a sudden, it's almost like The Bourne Identity before The Bourne Identity. Have you seen those movies?
I believe I've seen the first one.
You seen the first one?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, that's the main movie. The other ones aren't. I'm not saying that you don't have to watch those movies, but they're not as good as the first one. I mean, everything you need to know is in the first one. Everything else is just is extra. It was written by Steve DeSouza and Doug Richardson. It was composed by Michael Kamen. What do you think of the music?
It was nice, especially since they had to make it a holiday music type of thing.
Right. I mean,
along with the suspense music and the action music.
Right. I actually didn't pay attention to the holiday music until like in the very beginning when you heard some of it, and then at the very end, because that's how they ended the last Die Hard movie. But it was, like I said, to me it wasn't anything that really stood out about it. It just really kept you in the moment, and really, it very well complemented the movie. He also composed for X-Men, The Iron Giant, Lethal Weapon 4, probably all the Lethal Weapon movies, but the first thing I saw was Lethal Weapon 4, so I wrote that down. And Event Horizon, which I still haven't seen, so we can't use that one. But I still want to see.
That's good. We can't use that one. That's real good.
But yeah, that it's funny, right? Because when I first heard the X-Men theme for the movie, I wasn't all that impressed by it, but it kind of grows on you. It kind of grows as you see the subsequent sequels. It gets, I'm not saying it gets better, you just kind of get used to it. And I don't even remember what the Iron Giant looked like. It was produced by Charles Gordon, Lawrence Gordon, and Joe Silver. It was released by Touchstone Pictures. And then there were some things that happened behind the scenes. And some trivia, if you will, by IMDb. As a sequel to Die Hard, it was based on the 1979 novel Nothing Lasts Forever by Roderick Thorpe. At least Die Hard was. Die Hard 2 takes the characters created by Thorpe and then adapts them to the screenplay from another novel, 58 Minutes, by Walter Wager. So this movie is actually a screen adaptation of the novel 58 Minutes. And they call it 58 Minutes because the plane only had the plane with the lowest amount of fuel only had 15 minutes. So that 15 minutes to save at least that first plane. The general is from Val Verde. The general, the guy that they was trying to rescue, the drug lord. He's from Val Verde, which is a fictitious Latin American country used in Commando. So that's definitely going on the list. So Commando is an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, completely unrelated to this movie, but in that movie he goes to Val Verde. Yeah. So I'm not sure what Val means, but Verde I think means green. It might mean Green Valley. I am not sure. According to John Leguizamo in his autobiography, his role was intended to be much larger until the filmmakers realized how short he was. His part was cut down to one line, which was dubbed by someone else. However, he got his way years later in executive position in 1996. Another picture produced by Joe Silver and described as Die Hard on a Plane. That was a good movie. That's the one with Kurt Russell. I didn't see John Leguizamo, and I was looking for him. I don't know which one he was supposed to be. I didn't see him at all. I recognize that. Did you see Terminator 2?
Yeah, I remember watching that.
So that's the dude with the liquid metal?
Yeah.
Terminator. That guy, I think his name was Robert Patrick. He was in Die Hard 2, and I recognized him when I saw him, but I didn't see John Leguizamo. So did you recognize him?
I'm pretty sure he was in the scene when they was trying to go to one of the towers to use it for the planes, but it got blown up because it was an ambush.
No, you talking about the radio tower?
Yeah, the radio tower.
Yes, that was.
I had a feeling like that.
Was the first guy that John McClane runs into when it's like, you don't belong here, and it was like, pow, 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 and they started shooting. So he was the first guy. I was like, yeah, that's him. That's the Terminator. Where was I? I've lost my place in line. The first time Holly McClane is seen on the plane, there's a woman sitting next to her reading a magazine advertising the VHS release of Lethal Weapon 2, that came out in 1989. Both the first Die Hard movies and Lethal Weapon series were produced by Joe Silver. Both Mel Gibson from Lethal Weapon series and Bruce Willis were considered for each other's roles. So we almost saw Mel Gibson as John McClane and Bruce Willis as what's his name? The guy in Lethal Weapon. Have you seen any of the Lethal Weapon movies?
No.
Okay, that's definitely one of those.
No.
At least the first one. Riggs, that's the guy from Lethal Weapon that Mel Gibson played, because it's Riggs and Murtaugh. Murtaugh is played by what's his name? Dang it! It'll come to me later on. I should look it up just to spite myself. Let's see. Nope, still can't remember. Nope, still can't remember. No, it's gone. I'll remember it later. So, anyways, I'm trying to think. The Russian title of Die Hard in all three movies was A Tough Nut to Crack, which is kind of crazy. John McTiernan had planned to direct this film, but could not because his commitment to directing The Hunt for Red October. Rennie Harlin was hired after Fox executives were impressed by the dailies of The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, which was a terrible movie. They saw the dailies. I was like, oh, this is great. We should get this director. But Ford Fairlane was a terrible movie. But it wasn't the director's fault. He just did the best he could with material. I didn't see Ford Fairlane. I just heard it was a vehicle for this comedian named Andrew Dice Clay, which basically he was the type of comedian that pretended to be a horrible person, but allegedly was a good guy in real life. But he basically his whole act was offending women and other minorities. That was his thing, and people didn't dig it. Major Grant's commando team is referred to as Blue Light. This was the name of a real-life U.S. military anti-terrorist team formed within the Army's 5th Special Forces Group in the 1970s. It was eventually replaced by Delta Force, who recruited personnel from the entire Army rather than just discussion forces soldiers. So yeah, that was cool. Detail. They looked extremely professional.
Yeah, they did. Of course they would. They have to.
Right. I'm just saying that compared to other movies that use the military, it was pretty good. So
Oh yeah. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back to talk about our favorite parts of the movies, and you will find some more of what the critics thought.
That's right. We'll be right back.
How are you going to spend that Christmas money after Christmas?
Sunday. Get ready for Monster Robot action this Sunday after Christmas. On Sunday the 27th, the giant-sized monster robots are coming to DC to duke it out to see who's the baddest robot on the planet. Meet your favorite robots at a meet and greet before the match and get ready for mind-boggling action. The Undercard, the Iron Giant versus Gigantor. Find out which classic robot is superior. Up next, Ultraman versus Mechagodzilla. Does the mechanical beast have what it takes to take on the Agile hero? The main event, the Megazord versus the undefeated champion of the universe, Voltron, legendary defender. Will Voltron hang on to the belt, or will Snoop Upstart take him down for the count? Find out this Sunday, December 27th.
Get your tickets now. Seats are limited. COVID protocols are in effect. There will be distance seating, and masks will be worn at all times during the event.
All right, we're back. Thank you for sticking with us. So, Zachary, it's time to find out. What did you think of that movie? What were your favorite parts?
Yeah, let's see. I'm going to start with the female reporter who kept trying to review people. And every time she would do it, she'd always get 2 words. And she's like, yeah, of course, yeah. Another one would be John McClane when he's like, oh, yeah, you got to go through another elevator. Wow, just my luck. And he's like, now I got to go through a shaft. Wow, just my luck. And then he started going off things he wish he would be doing right at this moment versus what he's doing right now, which is going through this little, not air duct, this little tunnel. He's like, I wish I should be at home with some turkey, some ham, doing, holiday things, eggnog. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right to complain about.
Right.
It's another good one when they're at the church and the captain of the police force, he's like, McClane, what are you doing here? Why are you even here? And then the other guy, the commander, who's supposed to be good, he's like, shut up. And they're also like, you can't tell me to do that. Oh, yeah? He's like, Lieutenant, come get him and tell him, to beat it. He's like, with pleasure. I'm like, wow. Teamwork is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Now, I forgot to mention that was played by Dennis Franz. He was from Hill Street Blues is what most older folks remember him from. But yeah, he kindly escorted him off away from the scene.
Another one was in the beginning when John McClane's car is getting towed. He's like, "Come on, it's Christmas. Come on, you can't do this. Come on, I'm a police officer. So come on, we're buddies. Come on." And the guy's like, "Yeah, tough luck. All right, take it out of here. Oh yeah, here's your little receipt to pay the bill." I'm like, wow, again, teamwork for police officers.
Right. That was funny. It was like, he's like, "What about the Christmas spirit?" It's like, no. No Christmas spirit. And it wasn't his car. It was his mother-in-law's car. But actually, it was a good thing it got towed out of there because, explosions. So, my favorite part is that the whole plot of the movie was well put together. Like a lot of these action movies, or the type of action movies I like, where you have the pieces that when they start shooting certain scenes, and you can see how the storyteller, the director, are kind of setting up the situation, and then it kind of comes together in the middle of the story. The pieces sort of collect together, and you can see the puzzle being put together. But I like basically all other parts that you like. I like the John McClane's wife. What's her name? Holly, because that's what he was saying at the end of the movie. So Holly McClane typically, her role in the movie is it's near the refrigerator. It's I don't know if you heard this term. I only found out a few months ago. But in storytelling, it's like when you have the female protagonist, and instead of actually being in the action, she's kind of in like a closet somewhere, or she's in a separate location where she's not doing anything, or she's not really doing any significant thing to move the story forward. So and they call that putting them in the refrigerator. And so that's where Holly McClane is. But it seemed to me that her role was it had a little bit of meat in her role, which I appreciate. And so there was and they have this reporter on the plane, and the reporter is the same reporter from the first movie, and he is afraid of her because she punched his lights out, or she knocked two of his teeth out, or whatever. However you want to view the situation. So he's in the bathroom trying to tell the world about how the terrorists had taken over the airport and the planes are taken hostage. The planes basically have been hijacked, and they're all circling around the airport trying to land, but they can't land, and they're all running out of fuel, and they all might crash. And so in the middle of during his report, talking about how great he was, she zaps him with the what do you call those things?
It's a taser.
Yeah, she zaps him with a taser.
And if you're wondering where she got the taser from, it's because there was a sweet old grandmother that was sitting next to her saying, technology is wonderful. I used to carry a mace around. Now I carry this. She pulls out a taser, uses it, not like on her, but it's, display of being used. And she's like, use it on my dog. Poor thing was limping. I was like, what in the world is wrong with you?
She wanted to test it, so she tested it on her pet dog. And she said it limped for a week. That's not, you don't want to test your taser. Just have faith that it works. So, also, one of my favorite scenes, actually, I'm going to go to my absolute favorite scene, was at the climax of the film. So they're fighting on the wing of the plane, and John McClane appears to lose the fight. But, so he fights the Major, played by John Amos, and they get into a scuffle. He's able to, since they're on the wing of the plane, he's able to get the advantage, push him off the wing of the plane, and he gets chewed up by the engine. So, but there are two bad guys on the plane. So the second bad guy, he starts fighting that bad guy, the main bad guy, and Colonel Stroud. And Colonel Stroud is very good at fighting. So John McClane doesn't have too much of a chance. And Colonel Stroud actually wins this fight. He kicks John McClane off of the wing of the plane, but before John McClane actually falls off the wing, he manages to remove the fuel cap for the plane, allowing the fuel to spill out. And so after the plane goes several hundred feet, McClane takes out a match and throws it on the line of fuel that has been created by him removing the fuel cap, and the fire follows that fuel all the way from where he's at, all the way up to the plane. The fuel actually jumps into the air, strikes the plane in the wing where all the fuel is held, and the plane blows up. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. That was one of my favorite moments.
Not only that, it allowed the other planes to land because it was light.
Right, it created, in the movie, the bad guys are shut off all the landing strip lights so the other planes can't land. They can't. Like the tower, they take over communication so the tower can't tell them. And then they remove all the lights so the pilots can't figure out how to land on their own. But, so McClane, by doing that, he not only doesn't kill the bad guy, but he creates a light path for the other planes to follow so that they can land. I thought, this is brilliant. This is the most brilliant movie I've ever seen. At least at that time. So yeah, that was pretty awesome part. So what lesson does that teach us?
If someone has a hunch about multiple guys is carrying packages or going in places they shouldn't belong in, I think you should believe that hunch.
I mean, yeah, that's one. But what I was going for is like Jean McClane was in a fight, and usually when you're in a fight, like on the wing of the plane in a fight. So usually when a fight, your objective is to win the fight. You know, you beat up your opponent, and then you declare yourself victory, and then you know, you go off to the sunset. But his goal was not to win the fight. His goal was to destroy the airplane. So
yeah, destroy the airplane so that way his wife can safely land.
Well, I don't even know if he thought of that. He didn't think of that until after he saw this.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like his plan was to take out the bad guy so that way they can get the lights back on.
Right. But the thing was that he recognized what his true goal was. His true goal was to destroy the plane. So it's like, so he got, while he got beat up, it's almost like he allowed the bad guy to beat him. Because it was like, well, you know, I can destroy the plane by taking removing this fuel cap. I can do that. So I think the lesson we learned here is just to recognize what your real goals are. Everything else is kind of a distraction. So don't let the distractions get in the way. Recognize what your real goals are and pursue your actual goals. I think that's the lesson we can learn.
I guess.
So, oh my God, we just watched the movie, and my memory is already getting foggy. Do you have any more favorite parts?
No, this is about it.
Yeah. Like I said, overall, the movie was great. It was a nice package that was put together. It was one of the great action movies of the 1990s. I can't say enough about the actors that did a great job in this movie. It just made me like Bruce Willis more. Then his friends that played the airport police captain. He was very convincing. Even they had the airport engineer, and that was the black guy with the white hair. Remember him?
Yeah, he was the one that had an injured arm after that one place.
I should have listed him when I was naming the actors, but I've seen him in another movie, but I can't remember what that was. I'm tempted to think that it's a movie called A Soldier Story with Denzel Washington, but I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, he was very convincing. It was like everything just came together marvelously. And that's it. I think I've fully expressed my appreciation for this movie.
Yeah, you showed it.
So thank you very much for joining us. I want you to join us next time. Next time we're going to look at Gremlins because it's another great Christmas movie. Oh, wait a minute. There's one more part. And Zachary just pointed out to me. I almost. Yeah, we might have to cut that part out. So the last thing we want to look at is look at what critics saw. The critics gave it from Rotten Tomatoes, 69% from critics and 70% from audience on Rotten Tomatoes. So you know what? I think that's about right. What do you think?
Yeah, critics are critics. Sometimes they love something, sometimes they hate something. And other people are like, we disagree.
What score would you give it?
I would give it, I gotta give it a 70, 75.
I think I would give it a 90. That's just me. Especially when I first watched it. When I watched it at that time, oh yeah, for me that was 90%. So let's see what some of the critics had to say about this movie. You have I got these from RottenTomatoes.com. So David Anson said, the filmmakers know their audience is challenging them to top themselves, and they've risen to the bait. Harlan and company build suspense the old-fashioned way. They earn it. Jay Boyer didn't have as much glowing synopsis with opinion. Jay said, the filmmakers seem to be operating on the assumption that the way you top a successful movie is by making one that's louder, cruder, and more violent. I think it was more violent than...
No. There wasn't that much blood as you would see on someone's feet.
Well, I'm thinking you're talking about like the overall violence. I don't know. Maybe
too much violence.
It's
unless you're talking about that one scene where one of the planes had to go down.
Yeah, that was pretty. That was definitely louder, cruder, and more violent. Carrie Ricky said, the screenplay. Let me wet my lips. That came out wrong. All right, let me try to say this again. The screenplay is precariously supported by the chips on John McClane's shoulders. Fortunately, it's also designed to Willis's unique specs. Now, basically, they're saying that Bruce Willis was made to play this particular part. Maybe somebody else wouldn't be able to carry the movie because they would not have had the unique skill sets that Bruce Willis had. I tend to agree.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't know, because like I said, they wanted to get Mel Gibson for a little while, and I think Mel Gibson probably would have did it exactly right. He would have did just as good a job or better. And then Ralph Novak, he said, one might think a movie with a reported budget of $62 million would have had a few bucks to spend on a gaff spotter. Which, really, were there many gaffes?
No.
It seemed like he was looking for gaffes. And I guess it's like, if your job is to watch movies, you watch like 5 movies a day and 3 movies in a weekend or whatever. And you know the amount of, movie work, like you're backstage and you're interviewing actors and directors and producers and special effects teams. Then I guess you might spot a gap or two, but it's like, if you're a regular audience member, you're not going to spot any gaps. And there's a famous Game of Thrones scene where somebody accidentally left a Starbucks coffee cup on the table. So you have all these medieval cups, and amongst those cups are at a dinner scene is a modern time
cup.
Starbucks cup. And but when I saw that scene, when I watched it on TV, I never saw it, and I'm never going to see it because they've already digitally erased it. And then there was another one where
YouTube exists. You might find the
I've seen it, but I'm just saying when I watched it when it first aired, I didn't notice it, and I wouldn't have noticed it until somebody pointed it out recently. And The Mandalorian. So what happened in that show? In a recent episode, that happened to be directed by Carl Weathers. There was a scene where there was a firefight. Good guys are running, chasing the bad guys, and you see some blast of fire. People get hit, people die. But then online they pointed out that in a particular scene, you can see a whole ass modern day person hide behind, like half hidden behind a wall, and nobody spotted that. And that was definitely a major gaffe. But what's funny about that is that I didn't see that guy either. I never saw that guy, not even a little bit, not even a tiny bit. I was just so focused on the action. It's like I guess your eye went where the director wanted you.
That, or maybe they slow the video down and do like a play-by-play of it slowly.
Yeah,
they
probably
capture everything.
They probably did it that way, or they probably maybe they paused it to go to the bathroom and they came back and was like, wait, there's a guy there, a regular guy in a regular
probably
clothes.
Just watched it over and over, make sure they didn't miss anything in it.
I think what it is that, have you seen those like, what do you call those behind the scenes shows? No, not behind the scenes. It's more like a review show where they talk about where they look at all the Easter eggs in the show.
Yeah.
Like you've seen that for like Rick and Morty and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they do that for basically every show now. So in order to hunt for Easter eggs, you have to watch the same thing over and over again. So I think that's basically what happened. They're looking at the show over and over and over again, looking for Easter eggs, and one of them actually found this dude hiding behind a bunch of boxes. Because, that's the kind of thing that you see when you watch stuff over and over and over again.
And the fact that they found it and the editors didn't makes, speaks volume.
Yeah.
Because the editor's job is to make sure, like, okay, let me just make sure everything's all edited, all in there. But he somehow missed that one person hiding behind the box.
Right. He should have. I mean, and, mistakes are made. Sometimes you don't catch everybody. Sometimes even things are rushed. Who could say for sure? And they usually catch those things, but they didn't this time. But, doesn't matter. That dude has since been digitally removed. Because that's how you do. So, as you can see, we love this movie. My son loves this movie the same way I love this movie because he's almost exactly like me.
Stop using that logic.
There are a few differences. Like, he's way more into anime than I've been. He doesn't like the same games. Tell him the type of anime you like. Anime books. What anime book you read?
Like, oh, you're talking about The Case Closed? Yeah, that's mystery, action.
No, I'm talking about, you had some other anime books, haven't you?
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z is one of them. Inuyasha's another one of them.
Yeah, Inuyasha. See, I'm not into
That's
it.
action.
Yeah, but it's still anime.
Yeah.
See? Like, I never really got into, you like the, what's the one with it? They got the flesh muscles on the outside of the body.
I don't know. Are you talking about JoJo?
No. Attack on Titan.
Oh, yeah. I did watch that.
I never even got into that. The anime that I watched was there's a show called Transor Z, and I forgot what the Japanese name for it.
I mean, I have the poster right there. Mazinger Z.
Yeah, Mazinger Z. So yeah, that was what I watched, but that came on American television. I also watched Speed Racer. And then I think there were a couple of others that I can't remember. There was a Japanese movie that I really like called Vampire Hunter D that I seriously hope somebody remakes someday, but I never really got to see like the sequels or anything else. I only saw like one movie in that series. And let's see what else. We basically like the same action movies. We both like the Marvel movies, right?
Yeah.
See.
But that's modern. That's not something. Oh, and back in your day, that's different.
Yeah, I know it's different, but see, my thinking is, based on what you like now, I can reach into the past and find out the type of things that you might like, and I figure that you might like them because I like them. That's the whole idea. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I did it again. I picked out the show that I figured he would like, and he actually likes it. So we're going to continue on this thread. We're going to the next time on the next episode, when you next join us, we are going to talk about Gremlins, which is a great Christmas movie. It was one of the best Christmas movies of that decade. I think it came out in the 1980s. It was. It's like when you say, "I want to watch a Christmas movie. Let's watch a Christmas story." It's like, no, let's watch Gremlins. But don't watch Gremlins 2 because that movie was trash. Thank you for joining us. Join us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Have a nice one. Peace out.